Dear directors, dear professors, dear friends, dear colleagues, good morning. The several years-long scientific cooperation between the Central European Academy in Hungary and Institute of Justice in Poland, which Professor Marcin Wielec talked about, is not only institutional cooperation between Hungarian and Polish scientific entities. It is primarily the cooperation of people, scientists, friends, and let me boldly say, visionaries. Performing functions in certain institutions ends in a more or less expected way, not always with the end of the term of office. However, nothing can replace good interpersonal relationship and the desire to act creatively. This was and is the case with us. The inability to implement the next edition of the Polish-Hungarian Research Platform at Institute of Justice and the help of our friends from Hungary allowed us to open a new chapter in our common scientific cooperation. A year ago, after election in Poland, Professor Timea Barzo, Professor János Ede-Szilágyi and Dr. Katarzyna Zombory, with cooperation with Prime Minister Viktor Orban, Minister Aniko Rajs and Minister Judith Varga, were the first to contact us. Us, that is Professor Marcin Wielec, Dr. Bartłomiej Oręziak and me, and offer concrete help. This is how a new stage of our Polish-Hungarian cooperation began. Dear friends, thank you very, very much. Ladies and gentlemen, let me briefly tell you about the concept of the Polish-Hungarian Professors Network and our plans for the future. Polish-Hungarian Professors Network 2024-2025 research is currently concluded by 5 research teams, as you know. Reverse rule of law in the creation, interpretation and application of law in Poland, methods and consequences, changes in the structure of scope of foreign service activity, social exclusion of older people, legal responses, child welfare and modern technologies, and transnational migration crime. The last 3 research topics were developed by the Ministry of Justice and Institute of Justice before the 2023 elections as topic for Polish-Hungarian Research Platform 2024. Now we work as Polish-Hungarian Professors Network. Each researcher is tasked with write 2 popular scientific blogs, write a chapter for a multi-author monograph, write a scientific article, prepare and present 2 papers at 2 scientific conferences organized by Central European Academy, and organize a dissemination event. The most important is, what about the future? 5 steps. First of all, the monographs that you are creating as part of the work of the 5 research terms will be published in Hungary by Central European Academy Publishing in a new publishing series under the working title Studies of the Polish-Hungarian Research Platform. The scientific editor of this series will be Professor Marcin Wielec. Secondly, soon you will receive invitation to cooperate on a new scientific journal with a working name Polish Yearbook of Law. It will be a journal published in Hungary by the Central European Academy and devoted to Polish law. In addition to articles written as part of the Polish-Hungarian Research Platform, it will include articles written by foreign authors commissioned by editors on topics important for the Polish legal system, such as international law, European law, human rights and Polish law. In addition, the journal will publish commentaries of judgment of international courts and tribunals, the Court of Justice of the European Union, the European Court of Human Rights, the Polish Supreme Court, the Supreme Administrative Court, and the Constitutional Tribunal. The Polish Yearbook of Law will also present the most important sources of law and court rulings, as well as varia, which will consist of discussion of important anniversaries, reviews, and others. I would like to thank the Central European Academy directors for their trust and entrusting me the function of the editor-in-chief of this journal. Thank you very much. Third step. I encourage you, all professors, to take new initiative with the framework of Polish-Hungarian cooperation, but also more broadly within the Central European countries. The scientific platform in which we participate provide unlimited opportunities for international contacts, which, using your scientific potential, experience, as well as contact and organizational capabilities, can greatly contribute to the development of cooperation. By way of example, our international cooperation so far has resulted in such event as the International Oxford Debate, organized yesterday for the fourth time by Professor Wielec, in which teams from Poland and Central Europe took part. At the University of Opole, there is the cyclical International Scientific Conference for Young Scientists on the protection of the family, which I, with my friends, organize. Students and doctoral students from several Central European countries and others take part in it. The beginnings of these two events were dissemination event that we organize as part of Central European Professors Network. Fourthly, dear professors, I also encourage you to think about joint Polish-Hungarian scientific projects, and even more broadly, with the participation of other universities and scientists from Central Europe. Cooperation with the Central European Academy, the befriended University of Miskolc, and other cooperating scientific units can be a good opportunity to obtain joint foreign and domestic grants or scientific projects. Fifthly, finally, it's worth remembering about the young. Both at the Central European Academy, which Professor János Edesilagi will probably talk about in a moment, and at the Institute of Justice in Warsaw, as long we, Marci and me, Bartek, were in charge of it, we organized many projects for pupils, students, and young scientists. By way of example, the Laboratory of Law Leaders, Pracownia Liderów Prawa, Strategic Management Practice, Akademia Zarządzania Strategicznego, the Law and Justice Knowledge Olympiad, Olimpiada Wiedzy o Prawie i Wymiarze Sprawiedliwości, and numerous competitions concerning inter alia, mediation, drafting laws, cybersecurity. Such initiative can also be continued by you, dear professors, at your universities, in cooperation with the Polish-Hungarian Professors Network and the Central European Academy. Aristotle used to say, intelligence consists not only in knowledge, but also in the ability to apply knowledge in practice. Trusting in our wisdom, I believe that we will be able to use this knowledge in many joint Polish-Hungarian projects in the future. Have a fruitful conference and Polish-Hungarian cooperation. Thank you very much.